Generally, sex ed is, not that visual oriented. You just teach kids about sexuality, staying safe, and things like that. But sometimes they do use graphic aids, and sometimes it offends people who have a slightly puritanical approach to sexuality. There's a whole bunch of people like that on Fox News. So here is them, including one of their occasional correspondents, Keith Ablow, talking about sex education.
Is there anything wrong with this? They're just trying to educate the children, aren't they?
I think there's everything wrong with it. Why not have it in the family? They taught me nothing about sex in school, in public school, back in Marblehead, Mass. I learned.
Did your
everybody
family
I learned.
take the lead on it, though? Was it your parents?
I think they were stumbling and bumbling through it, frankly. It still was okay.
And the school helps because they know what these kids are talking about when they're not in your care.
They won't help.
Right?
It's a Trojan horse inside the schools, and they're going to start talking about threesomes. And they're going to be talking about everything that's okay. We don't jail people for these things.
I've never heard that taught in sex ed.
But why wouldn't they?
Because that
wouldn't
wouldn't
they?
be sex ed. That's something else.
Kissing on the couch, so three people can kiss on the couch.
Tips.
All right, so first, credit to the Fox for actually having reasonable people on a panel for the first time in American history.
Yeah, the women were reasonable there.
Even they're like, this Ablow character's nuts, right? And he's like, it's going to lead to threesomes. They're like, why would it lead to discussion of threesomes? He's like, why not? What does that mean? Why? Because just because you wanted to lead to a conversation about threesomes doesn't mean it's going to lead to that.
Yeah, when he thinks about children learning about sex, the first thing he thinks about is multiples of them engaging in sexual play, which is great. And I love that Lex Luthor's first point there is that he wasn't taught anything about sex as a kid, and he probably has gone his whole life being unable to satisfy a woman. If I had to guess, that's what I would guess.
My theory on Keith Ablow is that he's got somebody tied up in a basement.
You have said that before. You've been clear,
I'm a bad guy. Bree, has sex ed ever led to a threesome for you?
No. I'm going to come right out and say, no, it hasn't. Although kids, they want to know everything. And so, I mean, the more they know when they're younger, I just feel like it's better to explain something to your children than having them find out maybe the wrong information from friends. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't
you know
think
why?
It's lead to threesomes.
Because knowledge is power. So if you're not afraid of it, then you're in favor of it, like we are, right?
Yeah.
But for them, knowledge is the enemy. And they don't want you to learn anything. They just want you to learn their propaganda. And so they're like, oh, no. If you find out about human anatomy, that could be a danger to the stuff we're trying to spew. Yeah. And I remember sex ed. It didn't lead to threesomes for me. I wish it did, but it didn't, right? It led to snickering, right?
Yeah. No, OkCupid leads to threesomes.
Oh, is that right?
Not
okay.
sex ed, but
Best plug we've ever done on the show, and they didn't even pay for it.
And look, maybe this is crazy, but let's say some elementary school kids, like, they used condoms, they were totally safe, and they had a threesome. Who cares? It doesn't matter as long as they're safe. The important thing
I care, because they're getting more action than me, and that's not okay.
You'd be jealous. Okay, Bree will be jealous. But yeah, and I love your point about the education. Like, I know this is going to seem pretty extreme, but right now we have this international situation with Boko Haram, whose name literally means Western education is forbidden. And all they want to do is stop young girls from learning anything, basically. And Fox News, at least Keith Ablow there, is advancing the mission, or at least the basic philosophy of Boko Haram there.
I could see how Boko Haram would be like, oh, we are disgusted with the West, except this Dr. Ablow, medical expert on Fox News. We rather like him.
Yeah, he's got that certain special something. And by the way, so you pointed out that the women on the panel were reasonable. They don't think it'll lead to threesomes. I did a bit of research on Fox News' website, and they have been covering. I wanted to find out some stuff about pregnancy statistics and whether it's going down and all that. And thankfully, it is. New research came out recently. I believe it was by the Guttmacher Institute. It's down in all states, but it's not going down by the same rate. Some states are doing much worse. And even in Fox News' website, they quote the researchers saying that availability of comprehensive sex education, knowledge of and availability of contraception, and cultural attitudes towards sex are what is to blame for some states not doing as well in lowering teen pregnancy. And Keith Ablow is advancing all of those things that are going to stop states like Oklahoma and Texas from catching up to the rest of the country.